In this video, we take a look at how to combine acrylic fluid art with traditional brushwork to create a beautiful seahorses scene under the sea. And this is for my good friend Donna. Happy birthday to Donna of the channel It's Art by Donna. And so this painting is for Donna. Happy birthday, my dearest friend. Big hugs and love to you. So happy to be celebrating this very special day. So what I'm doing here is I'm just putting some basic layering of the initial paint down on the seahorses. And I'm going to do something very interesting after I get this initial paint down, which you can see here. And I'm going to actually be covering these up now with a combination between this green masking tape and masking fluid, which you'll see coming up in a moment ahead. You'll see my grand plan. There is a method to my madness. Of course, this was in theory. I actually had not done what the order in which I did this here, I'd never done before. So this was a concept I had in my mind. I was not entirely sure it was even going to work. Thankfully it did. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just getting ready. I'm using the rubber end of a paintbrush that is made specifically for using masking fluid, because masking fluid will ruin a bristle brush. So if you ever do use a bristle brush with masking fluid, make sure it's a very inexpensive one, because you're not really going to be able to get the remnants of it out. So I used the masking fluid and that rubber tip to get the really fine details here, like you see. I could not have accomplished that with the masking tape, but I used the masking tape for the larger area, and also to leave those little bits sticking up of that tape. That's going to actually help me remove all of this once I do the fluid art pour. Masking fluid is really used typically with very thin type of paints like watercolor or maybe acrylic paint that you use with a brush. So it goes on very thinly and it's not terribly difficult to get it to come off. But I've had experiences in the past, trial and error I suppose, where I have poured over it and the paint is so thick I was not able to get the masking fluid off. So this is my brainiac way of figuring out a way to be able to get that masking fluid off by using those bits with the masking tape, by leaving bits of it sticking up where I will be sure to be able to grab. So I'm doing my initial bits with the paint, as you can see. I have an array of greens and blues that I feel will combine to look like an ocean, like an underwater sea scene, which is really my aim. And I want it to look in the end like the sunlight is coming up in one location through the water, which is what it would look like if you were under the water. Wherever the sun would be, you would look up in that area through, looking up from under the water, looking up to the surface. You would see one area that is the brightest, and then everything else would become darker as it went out. And I wanted to do what I could to try and create that effect within the fluid art process. It's easier to achieve in some ways by using a brush and doing traditional paintbrush work. It's a little bit easier to control that way. But I wanted to really give it a go with fluid art, just to see if it could be done. Up after me is Kim of Kim's Art Alchemy, so be sure to follow along with us to Kim's channel if you're here with us live today. So we're just touching up the sides a little bit here, but I'm overall pretty happy with this result. But I am going to work on this just a little bit more. Thank you to everyone who is involved in this collaboration, and please see the playlist below, or the link below in the description for the playlist, so that you can see everyone who is in it and go and check them out. So I met Donna in 2021. I had just started my YouTube channel. I probably met her within a week of starting it at the most, and we were both at one of the Massey Boys' premieres, and we ended up meeting each other and chatting a little bit in the chat that was going on there. And then after that, we both subscribed to each other's channels, and we were really actively commenting on each other's videos. Okay, interrupting my story for a moment. Did you see how I was able to grab that tape and start to lift that off? So my plan did work. It didn't fully take off some of the other areas where it was just that masking fluid, but because I was able to open it up initially, then I'm taking this skewer and using the skewer to lift off some of the other more minute amounts. This process still did take a while. It probably took me at least a half hour or a little bit more to get all of this unmasked from the areas where I had put it. Okay, so back to my story. So yes, we started commenting on each other's videos to help each other with the algorithm, although we never really spoke about that as a plan. We just started doing it. I think it was unsaid that we understood it, but we were just doing it. And plus we were really bonding with one another, and it was fun to go back and forth. Sometimes we would go back and forth a few rounds underneath one video for one another. So that was really fun. And soon after that, Donna invited me to participate in a collaboration that Cindy was actually hosting, but Cindy of Cynthia Porter Studio. But Donna was helping her as well. And so I was so happy and so surprised to be included in a collaboration, because at that point I think I had 27 subscribers. It was in the 20s. I think it was 27. And at the time I met Donna, I probably just had like maybe 1 or 2 subscribers. So I was just completely floored. And although Donna and Cindy did not have big channels at that point, they each had in the 100 range of subscribers. Their channels were also pretty young at that point. Each of them had started theirs just a short time before I did. And I really did not expect to be included in any collaborations so soon into my YouTube channel. I figured it was something that maybe I would get to do one day when it was bigger, and with people whose channels were maybe more around the same size, because that's what you typically hear goes on. So that's what I overall was just expecting. So it was such a wonderful surprise, and I remember being so happy and elated and just grateful and kind of surprised, but in a good way, of just being so lucky to meet such wonderful people that were just more into having fun. And Donna and Cindy both actually really wanted to help people with younger channels, with smaller subscriberships. And, that was a kindness that I had never heard of anybody doing. And Donna has certainly gone on to continue. So she has just an amazing heart. And Donna used to raise seahorses, so she actually had several different varieties that she used to raise. And I actually started this painting, it was the summer of 2021, and I was in a summer collaboration. It was like on the theme of summer, and I started it for that, but I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to finish it in time. But I always had a feeling I was going to give it to Donna. And I finally have just taken it back out, and I've started to work on it again recently, and am finishing it up as her birthday gift, and in celebration of her wonderful birthday, for my love for her, how wonderful she is, and everything that she does for everyone, and her love of seahorses. So happy birthday, my dear friend Donna. I love you so much, and I am so grateful that you are a dear, dear friend of mine.